Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Art with World. Today we are having a very fine poet with us, Dr. Mehmood Nasir Malik. He is a very fine poet, calligrapher, and painter as well. Welcome to our show, Mehmood
Thank you so
Nasir.
much.
How are you?
I'm good.
First of all, I must congratulate you on a very successful exhibition of your calligraphy. I had a privilege to see that, and I could see people's interest in that and the wonderful work you have done. I think it's a new experiment in calligraphy in Pakistan, doing the digital calligraphy. Before we talk about your poetry and other work, I would like to hear from you how your interest about calligraphy started and how you have kind of revolutionized it in Pakistani calligraphy tradition.
Yeah, thank you so much. You came all the way from Islamabad to
No, that
see that
that was a
exhibition.
great exhibition.
That was wonderful. And basically, as you know, in the schools we were taught to write on those tablets
Yeah,
with
takhtis, as we
pens
call
and
it.
everything,
Yeah.
kalam. So I started writing on those takhtis, the small tablets, and with them and everything. And the teachers were very good. They would do wonders with their own calligraphy. And that was basically nostalgic pattern. In the meantime, government wanted to introduce Nasakh also. And one of our teachers, he became teacher of teachers to tell them how Nasakh is being written. So I was very interested. I would see how they were doing it. His name was Muhammad Khalil Farooqi. He was very good. He was very good calligrapher. So I was inspired from him. And last time I intentionally went to see him, and he appreciated it, and I showed him a few pieces of mine, which obviously I had excelled it. And that made me interested in calligraphy. And then I had a chance to work with Sadkan. Then I was a medical student, final year student, and I was editor of my college magazine, Nishtar magazine.
Okay, Nishtar.
You know this, Nishtar magazine. The Nishtar Medical College magazine, I was the editor, and it was my final year. And I had a dream that if Sadkan makes a title, then it would be something wonderful for me. I contacted a friend, Sayyid Muhammad Salim Zia, who was then working with Sadkan at National Bank Pakistan, Mall Road. He asked me to come over. I went there, and then we started painting. Sadkan had made all those graphics, and we were painting into that. And then one fine day, Sadkan came and just stood over me for 10 minutes or so. He was very happy with my work. And then I kept going there for, say, a week or so. He would work with 2 pencils. I was very slow at calligraphy. And then I learnt there the very flow. He would make pencils flow, and obviously the lines would flow with him. Even you say his other figurative work, line is flowing like anything.
Yeah.
So basically he would make 2 pencils, and then I asked once that we should erase this pencil work. He said no. Posterity should know how I drew it. So then I was very fluent. I followed that pattern, and then I'm very, very fluent in calligraphy. Then I thought, as he was doing decorative calligraphy, Islamic calligraphy, why shouldn't I go into it? Then this dream just died out. I went to England and did no poetry, no painting, nothing, because I was busy in doing my MRCP and everything. When I came back, then one of my friend of mine, he was message advertiser, Sohail Aziz. All those, they were doing work on Illustrator, Photoshop and everything. And he asked one of his fellows, Arif Jamil was his name, can I do a calligraphy on this computer? He said, well, why not? Yes. On standing, I just wrote Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That was Illustrator. And the result was wonderful. So this is how I became interested in computer. So I would draw on the computer, then color it. We have got all those pencil and everything. There was a program Painter 6. It had all those pencils, oils, crayons, everything. So you could draw on the computer without touching a pencil and brush. So that was wonderful, because I happened to develop allergy to the turpentine oil used in oil painting. So I thought this is very wonderful, and you can change whenever you like. Once you apply a paint, it is gone. You can't really mess with it. And in this computer, I had that facility that whenever I like, I can change the program, I can erase it, I can redo it, I can paint again and again and again. I can use pencils, I can use oil, I can use water in the same medium, which is very difficult. You can't mix water with oil, otherwise if you're painting. But here you can all do all those things. And that was wonderful experience. I made few panels, maybe some 200, and then my computer program crashed. Because all this digital work is to be brought in print shape. Then again I had the period which I didn't do anything. I retired as Professor of Medicine from Allama Iqbal Medical College, and then I had some time to myself. And then I again started painting, but now all these programs, they have been far advanced. And I can draw it now on my own mobile even. I've got various programs. As I'm very quick at calligraphy, I can do a calligraphic work, and then rest is decorating. You give to a child and he would color it or whatever. But obviously if I am doing coloring, I am doing it myself. People think probably it is a artificial intelligence or AI prompted images. No, they are not. I draw them mostly on paper. I photograph it and bring it to that program. Then I paint it. Paint it whatever medium I like. And then if I like, I can go to various filters and add color to it. Not color only, but texture and everything that is possible in those small things, even on my mobile. So easy thing is, if I'm sitting in my office, I'm sitting anywhere, I take it out and I start drawing. That is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And I've got a special tablet also, which you can draw on the surface itself. It opens like a page, and on page, whatever you like. You draw, you write, you pencil work, oil work, water work, do it, and it is an infinite world, honestly. You can play with the colors. One color, if you don't like it, you change the color. If a pattern you don't like, you change it. But if you are doing on a paper and oil, you can't really change much. So this is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And I thought probably with this digital age, I should be jumping into this digital world. That is why I did this first exhibition of calligraphy, which is totally digital. It doesn't mean I don't do other work.
Yeah.
I've been doing ceramics, I've been doing glass work, I've been doing mug paintings and everything, practically everything. Even simple nasakh and nastaliq, both ways.
Okay.
I can do a calligraphy both ways. But I have a medium of my own and style of my own. This calligraphic exhibition, every panel was a different type of calligraphy. Every panel had different colors. Colors were very bright.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
That was very intentional. And mostly my paintings, even if this calligraphic work looks initially abstract, you come too close, then the first colors attract you. Then you come closer, and then the words, they come and meet you. And then once you realize what is the word, it then reveals its soul to yourself. So that is that the Islamic thing that touches you, and that is the beauty of it.
Well, I wish you continue your work, because it has a lot of possibilities you may explore through your calligraphic work. We may come to this discussion again, but first there are many other things I need to ask from you. You have just told, and as we know, you have worked in ceramics, you have painted the tiles, you have also done beautiful paintings, and above all, I think your basic passion was poetry.
Yeah, to begin with, yes.
So, can you just tell me how did you explore different interests of art and literature, and how then you focus them first on poetry and then to other like calligraphy and paintings? Your early influences, what were your inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, We started into, I came with the first poetry was Talkhiyan by Sahil
Sahil
Lujani.
Ujani, yeah.
I bought it from Urdu Bazaar. It was a beautiful print on art paper, and he fascinated me. And that is how really I
Most
came
of,
to
I
the
think
poetry.
its poem, long poem Parchaiyan was the best,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
बस चंद कलियां निशात की
Yeah,
चुनकर
yeah.
मुद्दतों में मैं याद रहता हूँ. So that was my beginning, and then I started poetry during my college days. I was a student of Government College Lahore, and then during that college period, I became editor of student page of Daily Wifaq. So that also boosted my image, and I recited few of my poems in Halkar Bafizok and other halkas which were there. So they encouraged me, especially encouragement came in Majlis Iqbal by Siraj Munir Senior.
Okay.
He encouraged me a lot, and he said, "You've got germs of poetry in you, and you must." And other was Muskuru Sanjat.
Okay.
He asked me whether you want to become a doctor or a poet. I said both, and he laughed. And he took me to his office and told me about the meters, the urus.
Okay.
So this is how I became interested. Then one cousin of mine was studying in Oriental College in Arabic, and asked him, "What are these urus?" He said, "We have got a paper for this, all these meters and everything." So I learned those meters, all those urus and everything, and I revised my own way of knowing if whatever I say is in meter or not. And basically, I personally think it comes to you naturally, because as a child I dreamt of being a poet, a painter. I thought probably my poetry would be sung by people on radio or TV, and a day came when this happened really. So I just wonder, a child's dream living in a very small village on the banks of River Jhelum. He came to Lahore and he became a poet, he became a painter, he became a physician. It is all really wonderful to me. My journey, I look back and say, is it really me? I have traveled this much.
You have referred to Lahore many times. I think that's great, but I have seen you somewhere else as well, and I think that was also one of the periods you wrote poetry, and you also published a literary magazine while you were in Nistar Medical College.
Yeah.
I remember those days. You and some other friends of yours. We were junior to you, but we worked along with you. You used to go. It's just fascinating to remember those days. While in those days, in 80s, I guess, you used to take a bus to Khanewal because there was certain calligrapher you liked
you remember
most.
that?
Yeah, and then he would compose whatever stuff you gave to him.
Yeah.
Then you would go to Khanewal again, get it back, and start editing. And at that time there was no computer; it was not so easy. And then you would go around to different philanthropists in the city, collect funds to publish that.
Yeah.
And then you would
that I
publish,
remember.
and then you would throw into the hostel rooms of every student.
Yeah, that was free of cost then.
That was, of course, it was free because it was labor of love.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great work you guys did. In addition to other things, like you were editor of college magazine, as you just told.
I was twice editor.
Yeah, and
Once in my 4th year, which was not possible then.
Sadkan made its title.
Yeah.
You just told me. I had the privilege to work as your assistant in that magazine.
You were with us with it.
And those were 80s times, and people like Abid Ameek, Dr. Anwar Ahmad, Shahid Mubashir, they were published in those magazines in limited editions of that magazine. So that was a wonderful time. Could you just share with us your memories and how did it contribute to your poetry?
Background from Lahore.
Okay.
Because I was going to various magazines, newspapers. I read a lot. I had read everything till FSC, and name it, Tolstoy, Maupassant, other Keats, Byron, others. Those were the beginning days, and Krishan Chandra, Quratul Ain Haider. I had all read those things because Abdullah Hussain, for example. And then I came to Nishtar, and we had wonderful seniors. One was Dr. Ahmed,
Yeah.
the famous poet,
Yeah.
and
Well, the
other
finest
was
poet, yeah.
Shamoon Salim,
Yeah.
who recently expired, and he was a very wonderful poet.
Mm.
Shahid Mubashir. They were all college fellows.
Yeah.
And then we made those Arbab Zawq,
Yeah.
and we published that magazine which you are mentioning, Nagarish.
Yeah.
And Fani was the Katib,
Okay.
the writer of calligraphy. He was a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And he had 1 year's work with him. And then we went and requested him, and he said, well, you give one week, and other weekend you come and collect it. Because previously we were doing from Imroz Katib, but we were not that happy. So this was the passion that our magazine, that small Nagarish was the name, that should look different than others. And everybody would contribute. Probably we had published your short story in that,
Yeah.
and others. So that was the grooming of medical students. And we had wonderful collection of galaxy of people who were interested in art, literature, politics, everything.
Yeah.
And that group constituted, I remember Mahfouz Ahmed,
Yeah.
who had read everything, and he would have study circle on Bertrand Russell and Sartre and everything.
Yeah.
And then we had happened to go to the Urdu Academy, which you are mentioning,
Yeah.
the senior ones,
Yeah.
starting from Professor Arshad,
Yeah.
Dr. A.B. Ashraf, Anwar Ahmad, Arshad Multani, Farooq Durrani, and so many, Dr.
Yeah.
Muhammad Amin. They were all there, Askar Nadeem Sayyid
Yeah.
and Abdur Rashid. Abdur Rashid had a great influence on me. He was a prose poet,
Yeah.
but he had wonderful lines like Shamoon Salim. They were really innovative in idiom, in their style and everything. So they impressed me a lot. And I started with ghazal and nazm both ways. So my genre were both. And basically I have got very abstract thoughts. And they are like paintings. Poetry comes to me like paintings. And then I have to paint them into words.
So Nishtar's time was a great time. Even in your juniors like Dr. Elliot or Dr. Ayub, they also wrote very good poetry.
Azhar Ali.
And I think those were Azhar Ali, yes. Those are extraordinary times. I don't remember that. So it's a galaxy of students who worked in politics, who worked in literature, and who had excellent professional skills as well. Lal Khan was also your class fellow, and he had worked internationally on with different political groups. Shamoon Salim also worked with different. So that was a wonderful time. Coming back to your poetry, I think, as many people say and critics think, that Mushtaq Sufi is one of them. He has said that it is mostly three main elements which constitute your poetry, like aesthetics, flow of time, and nature. So I agree with that, and I also think that your poetry is I completely agree with you. It's painting. Whenever we read your poetry, it just make a painting. Like and then you also experimented. You wrote, I remember, ghazal, in which there was no what you call that. Izafat. There was no izafat. So that was also a new experience.
That was very experimental.
Yeah. So I would request you to recite some of your poems or ghazals for our viewers, and maybe then if you could translate them in English as well.
Yeah, that's possible. I've got few lines with me.
First you tell in Urdu and then maybe translation.
ये शाम ख्वाब लगती है, ये जुगनू ख्वाब लगते हैं, परिंदे ख्वाब लगते हैं, शजर भी ख्वाब लगता है.
Wow, beautiful.
So the evening looks like a dream. This is translated by Mushtaq Sufi. And so look the fireflies, the birds are so many dreams, and so is the tree. And then I had another genre, ghazal. दरिया रेत पे बहता है, नाव बहते पानी पर, और दरिया लिखता जाता है जो भी बीते पानी पर.
Wow, beautiful.
और करते हैं सरगोशी क्या बादल झुकते पानी पर. So basically the idiom is a river. Rivers like time flow. So this pani is the river, the flow of time, which encompasses everything. So evenings, the river flows over the sand and the boat floats on the river. Clouds kneel over water. What do they whisper?
Yeah.
The river goes on writing what the water goes through. So basically, river is time. Time is writing everything. This is history. And history is being written by everybody, by poets, by philosophers, by historians, by musicians. This is all history. History is not just the fights and everything. So whatever we are composing, we are talking, we are making, we are doing painting, sculpture, everything. This is all history. Because this history is basically the force which, as Will Durant said, philosophy leads all the sciences. So philosophical thought, poetical thoughts, they make us humans. This is what really humanity is all about. All these soft things, music, the soft voices die. So
Yeah.
these soft voices, they make us humans. So this is the beauty of it. We can talk, we can paint, we can make music, we can do sculpture, we can interrelate those things with each other. This is the beauty of human being, really. Because nature talks to human beings.
Yeah.
And if we have got ears, we can listen. If we have got eyes, we can see it. And then if we have got hands, we can paint it. We have got all those things we can create. So basically, creativity is the essence of humanity. We can create things which probably animals can't. So if we can create words. Words are the same. Colors are the same. There are 7 colors. There are 26 alphabets. And once you compose them into different things, they can change entirely your soul. They can touch your soul. All those basic things. So it is beauty of the creator who gives that such a twist that it touches your heart. Be it music, be it few lines, be it sculpture, be it painting, be it poetry. So basically, it is the skill of the artist which twists it in like a manner that it becomes so beautiful. So art probably, it's not a complete definition, but art is, or poetry is a twisted reality. So the greater twist and greater beautiful twist you can give to it, you can give fascination, you can be fascinated by anything. You can have fantasies, they can become your art. And so big art becomes with a thought, newer thought. As you said, I've tried to do different things in poetry, I've tried different too in this calligraphy. I'm coming with digital paintings also.
Really?
One of my series is Women with Flower. Some of I have posted on, most of them I haven't, because if that series comes then, and we have got other series. I've got series with light and shades, and they are being composed with digitalization also.
Okay.
So it is not just the photograph. Photographs are being digitalized, and then I'll be exhibiting them. And some exhibition would be my own poetry and my own sketches and everything. So this is what I plan next. So this is what I'm planning to do.
I think one of the striking feature of your poetry is description of nature. I haven't, I think all of your poetry I have gone through, there are almost symbols, metaphors, descriptions of nature around, birds chirping, evenings, rivers, trees, clouds. So in our lives, these things have become quite remote now. I mean, we mostly live in concrete jungles, which is called cities, and there's birds have flown away. We usually don't see flowers. There's traffic everywhere. So how is it that it's still nature and the metaphors of nature still you keep yourself, you keep along with yourself, and those appear in your poetry almost all the time?
I was lucky enough to be born in a small village. So we had a lot of trees, birds,
Yeah.
sparrows. They would come and sing morning, evening, and we had plenty of trees, water flowing in the canals and everything. and we were living on the bank of a river, Jhelum. So that all was probably unintentionally that imbibed into my soul, then went into my soul. And then we spent wonderful time in a place called Khuda in Sunskesar. That was again a beauty. And we had all those small streams, all those hills and everything. So I had really very close relationship with the nature, and that comes naturally to me. It haunts me really, because I just want to live with it. Just the sound of water, that makes me mad. पागल मुझको कर देती है बारिश की आवाज़. So if it is raining, that sounds make me mad. Really, it just happens that this is raining on my heart and soul. So that sound of water makes me dream of water bodies and rivers, ocean. Ocean is a very big metaphor, because life is like an ocean, and you never know. You can't. It is uncharted sea, and whatever you like, you can find birds, you can find boats, you can find islands, you can travel, you can go deep inside. You have got fishes and everything, and you have got. It is. I saw a metaphor for voyage. Wonderlands, 7 worlds going through, because initially humans began traveling on foot and then by sea. So that is a big metaphor, and obviously it has got so many things in it. So that is, so water bodies, rivers, ocean, the birds, they naturally come to me, and I've got great fascination with that. And sparrows have been very repeated metaphor in my poetry, because I would wake up with those sparrows, their chirping, and I would go by bed with when it was evening, sparrows would come and they would do their own business. So that was a haunting season and haunting scenes really, and all those open skies, for example, and then sowing of everything, the various seasons. I've seen everything. I've seen lush green fields, wheat fields, rice fields, and we had orchards, mangoes, oranges, everything. So that was same in that small village. And I spent there, I came to Lahore as a child though, but I came in 9th class to the government central model school. That also was a turning point for my personality building, because then I became independent from my own family, and that was beginning of my voyage, which was further strengthened my personality when I came to Nishtar and lived in Nishtar Medical College and lived in the hostel for 5 years. So a 5-year span, we had wonderful people who had knowledge of history, knowledge of medicine, knowledge of poetry, knowledge of world literature, knowledge of philosophy, and everybody was really a gem.
Yeah.
If I think back, like you were interested in writing short stories and you came up with novels and everything, translation. I've seen you working very hard on your first novel, which was Goman.
Yeah.
I remember you writing that, but I didn't discuss any plot with you because you were working on it, and I would never touch it. And basically, some glimpses in that novel are also from that time period.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
that is a big relation that relates to me, because I was part of that scheme of the things.
Yeah.
And that is a wonderful novel, honestly, and written in very candid manner, beautiful writing. And even now, the other days.
Well, thank you very much, but this program is about you.
Okay, fine.
We'll talk about my novel later.
Because we are interlinked with this, the phenomenon of, we started journey together. So that is what it is.
I also think, and some other critics have also pointed out, continuous sense of loss in your poetry. And I mean, time which never comes back, and nostalgia. Why so? Well, of course,
I've
it's
thought
your
about
experience. But I just wanted you to tell.
because so many people have said about it,
Hmm.
that sadness, that sorrowness. What is that? I couldn't really dig it out earlier, but now I think it was loss of my father at early age.
Oh.
I haven't seen my father, so the finger in the hands of a father and walking, that image really haunts me. But I couldn't hold that finger because I was 6 months when he died.
Oh.
So
Yes,
probably I knew it later on that I had no father, and I had so lovely relationship with other children, other siblings. My mother was very kind. My grandpa was very kind. But somehow I miss those things. That is, I personally think that is where that sorrow comes.
Yeah.
It's a big loss. It is a big loss because I couldn't spend my childhood as I should have been.
Yeah.
So that is one loss which goes with me. And I personally think happiness is nothing. Permanence is sorrowness. And it is level of the sorrowness. Everybody, life moves on because we want to convert our sorrows and losses to happiness. And that is the driving force. You are having a cycle, you want a bicycle, you want a motorcycle, you want a car. So it changes, and at every phase, happiness and your sadness, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because you want to travel from one side to another. But biggest loss is obviously death. So this is one thing which keeps the life going, and this is the beauty, and this is the worst thing in life, because one day it vanishes. And once your dear ones, they are gone, that is a big loss, really.
Yeah, I understand.
And I probably think that background of sadness in my every word, every poetry, even if we're talking of happiness, it is right there. It is a string which goes on beating, really, within myself.
And still in your poetry, the two worlds, like physical world and spiritual world, are body and soul, they go in harmony. That's another great achievement you have done, despite all these sorrows and a sense of loss. But there's a calm flow of words which create different meanings in your poetry. I think that's also something it's very remarkable in your poetry, I guess.
Yeah, that's your analysis. I do poetry just like it comes to me. I personally think I am a poet and painter by design, by my DNA. I became physician by my own choice. So that poetry, calligraphy, painting comes to me naturally. But becoming a physician was a very hard work.
We'll come to that maybe if we have
I
time.
had to really work very, very hard. And obviously, if you are doing something, you have to sacrifice something. So in those phases when I was doing very hard work for becoming a good physician, then poetry and these things, they were really lacking behind. So it's very difficult to make a balance between your ambitions, your desires, and the way you want to earn money in this country. So had I been in other country, I would have only opted for literature and arts.
Yeah. But still, I think you have done wonderful in your professional life as well. You are, a lot of people consider you as, very good physician, but at the same time, you are you deal with people with compassion, and you take them as individuals, not just a body which is carrying some disease, but you take them holistically. So that is also a wonderful aspect of your life and your profession. You did not lose anything, you contributed into the field of medicine as well. But coming back to your work, maybe if I would like to ask you your favorite poets or writers who actually influenced your work as well.
Yeah, I began with, as he said, Sar Ludhianvi.
Okay.
And he was a great poet. He had lyrical as well, and very
Most of his
passionate,
good poetry is
very
filmy
passionate,
poetry,
very passionate. And then when we came, I
sung
read
by others.
Iqbal, I read Faiz, but two poets really influenced me, Noor Mim Rashid
Great.
and Majid Amjad.
Yeah.
Because in those initial days it was very difficult. La Barabar Insan came when I was in FSC, but I read it. I couldn't understand much of it.
At that time.
But then at that time. But then again I reread all those things and then knew Noor Mim Rashid is probably a poet which was not given as proper merit in this country. And Majid Amjad, so is the Majid Amjad. He is a wonderful poet. He touches your soul. He knows about those intricacies of writing, in the diction also, and the meaning also. And same is true about Noor Mim Rashid. A total different diction, total different content from the contemporary. So that makes it different, because Faiz is again extension of that previous tradition. He broke that. Majid Amjad though was part of that tradition, but Shab-e Rafta was different. Shab-e Rafta ke baad was totally different, because then he experimented a lot, and it is very, very philosophical, at the same time very, very lyrical, and very deep into meaning, and his diction was absolutely marvelous, because the word he chose, even a very different word would become just melt in his hands. It was a beautiful poet, Majid Amjad. So these two people really influenced me. Though I initially became to, I was writing Nazm, then I came to Ghazal. Why? That was because of the pressure, peer pressure. Because they thought prose poem was, or even otherwise, the metric poem was nothing. So I intentionally came to Ghazal so that they can recognize me that I am a poet. And other thing was,
you take everything as challenge.
Yeah, because everything
Not
poets,
good.
they were thought as they do nothing. So in that rebellion, I became a very good doctor, because I wanted to tell people I'm not just mere poet and painter, I'm a good physician also. So I did FCPS, I went to England, I did FRCP, I was awarded with FRCP London, I was awarded with FRCP Edinburgh, and then I came. I had a passion for teaching. I developed a passion for teaching during these days, and still I teach. I teach undergraduates, postgraduates, and as you said, I tell those it is not a disease we are treating. We are not treating diabetes. We are treating a human being with diabetes. So we should not be treating tests. We should not be treating diseases. We should treating human beings, and we shouldn't say bad 13 has got this. It is Muhammad Yunus who is lying on bed 13, and he has got certain diseases. He has got all those. If one person goes, there are so many links are broken.
Oh yes.
Because life is so precious. I personally think nobody can know life is more precious than a doctor. And I've been striving very hard to save lives. And even if you save one life, it is really, it is the beauty of it. So being a doctor, and even if a patient has got a tummy pain and you relieve it, it is a great thing. Patient is having a pain of heart attack and you relieve it, that is a great thing. So basically people think why you mint money. I personally think if a patient is dying of heart attack and you can save him, can he pay you back? He can never pay you back, because you have saved the life, and life is so precious, nobody can pay you back. So then why doctors, I personally think in this country, the problem is doctors, you have to pay fees to them. Like in England, we were treating patients and we were not asking for money. It was the government which was giving, and they were very happy with us. If same thing happens here, and we are not taking those money from these people, they would be very happy.
Yeah.
But government should do this.
Of course,
because,
I mean,
if
this
that
is-
is done,
yeah.
probably everybody would be very happy with doctors.
Yeah.
But I do agree, doctors should be first a good human being,
Yeah.
then a good doctor, then he should have empathy, not
Yeah.
just sympathy. Empathy
yeah.
with the patient. He should sit in the shoes of the patient, and then he should know, because most of the people, most spending is done. If one becomes ill, all family resources are there
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
that is a real, very dreadful story.
Yeah.
And we daily face this.
Yeah.
And
This
it's
is the
very, very
whole
difficult, I
area
tell
of
you.
health sector, health policy, and
We
justice
can't
and all
do
that.
much.
Yeah, we
I
can't
personally
do.
think if I can individually do something, I should be doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever I can do,
Yeah.
in whatever capacity.
Yeah, and Nasir, before we finish this program, what are your upcoming projects? We have just 2-3 minutes. Are you? We have seen your books, Badil Jhukte Pani Par and Dhoop Hai Mere Dil Ka Mausam. Is there some nai book in the offering, or
Yeah,
Are some-
I've written a lot of poetry, but obviously I was busy doing this, my calligraphic exhibition.
okay?
But it took a lot of time,
Uh-huh.
lot of passion. And obviously, if something is bubbling in you, boiling in you, catharsis happens.
Yeah.
So that catharsis has gone to this exhibition. Now I'll sit back and collect my works which I've done over the years.
Mhm.
But first book came in 1991,
Yeah.
and second came in 2019,
Mhm.
and third probably I'll try to bring it earlier. So I'm trying it,
Okay.
that this is published this year or next year.
So, Dr. Nasir, thank you very much for sparing your time, and we could talk more on the health sector, we could talk more on poetry, but this is all the time we had at our hands.
It was a pleasure talking to you and really sharing old memories of
Yeah.
National Medical College.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful time, and this is again a wonderful time. We have been together one-to-one after a
Okay.
very, very long time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, viewers, thank you for watching us. See you next Sunday, same time.